Hello everyone, today our group will explain the concept of entailment in pragmatics. First, let's define what is entailment. In pragmatics, entailment refers to a relationship between two sentences where the truth of one sentence guarantees the truth of another sentence. In other words, if a sentence A is true, then sentence B must also be true. But importantly, the reverse may not be true. For example, A. Maria is a mother. B. Maria has a child. If A is true, then B must be true. So we say A entails B. Entailment is a truth base, not based on context or speaker intention. It's more logical and linguistic. Entailment is a relationship based on literal meaning.
In this section, I will give you some information about why entailment matters in pragmatics. First, entailment is important in pragmatics because it helps us to understanding about how meanings works beyond the surface of a sentence. Next, when we interpret language, we don't only hear words, but we make some logically connections. Now, I have a question. How entailment help us in pragmatics? Okay, I have the answers. First, entailments help us on interpret meanings logically. The second, avoid misunderstandings. The last but not least is analyze how information is structured in conversation. Now I have an example. The example is when someone says the king of Thailand arrived, we automatically understand that there is a king of Thailand. Okay, this is an entailment. Even it is not said directly, the meaning is logically implied. And the list is entailment also helps linguists different between what is expressed directly and what follows logically from it.
I will give you an example of entailment. For example, number 1, John bought a car. And then for another, John owns a car. For this explanation, if John bought a car, it must be that he owns the car. Like he owns one of that. So A entails B. Example number 2, for number A, she killed a spider, or the spider is dead. So this explanation kill logically simple like that. For example number 3, all students pass the exam, or some students pass the exam. Explanation: if all pass, it must be true that some passes. So the example show how one sentence guarantees the truth of another.
Okay, because entailment is often confused with presupposition and also the implicature, so I will briefly explain the differences between entailment, presupposition, and also implicature. So we talk about entailment. entailment means if sentence A is true, then sentence B must also be true for sure. And for example, she is a mother entails she is a woman, but if A is false, B might not be false. And for the presupposition, it's like background assumption that must already be true before you can say a sentence. And it stays true even if you negate sentences. For example, I regret eating ice cream presupposes I eat ice cream. Even if you say I don't regret eating ice cream, the presupposition still holds. And the next is about the implicature. The implicature is about what the speaker suggests without saying it directly, relying on the context or conversation rules. For example, if asked, "Are you coming to the party?" and you can answer, "I have homework," and it implies you probably won't come.
Okay, this is almost the end of the video, and now I will tell you the summarize and also the key point to remember. Entailment is a logical relationship where the truth of one sentence guarantees the truth of another sentence. It is an important concept in pragmatics because it helps us understand how meaning is structured logically in language. And there are three key points to remember. First, entailment is based on truth. And the second one is, if sentence A is true, the sentence B must also be true. And the third or the last point is, entailment is different from presupposition and implicature. Okay, and also the benefit of entailment is understanding entailment help us analyze conversation, avoid misunderstanding, and also interpret language more accurately. Okay, that's the video about entailment from our group, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.